So we've done the profile torso. Now I'm going to talk about the shoulder girdle a little bit, which is up around your clavicle, your deltoid, and pectoralis, and how that interacts. This drawing is a pretty cool little drawing that I'm doing. On this page, I think all these drawings would more or less want to be done. The bottom one, it's 169 is the page. The bottom one drawing on this page is a little bit, I don't know, kind of doesn't, you could maybe just look at it and kind of get a sense for it. Some of the drawings, again, are just so little and non-descriptive that I would just say just maybe try to understand what he's trying to get across, but maybe it's not worth spending a ton of time studying them, drawing them. Maybe do it in a sketchbook with ballpoint pen or something. We'll be going over some of that. When I get into the next part, which is applying this to Frazetta and things, we'll be doing a combination of black, white pencil on black paper, which is another technique. We'll be doing some inking, and we'll be doing some graphite and some charcoal. So we'll be mixing it up a little bit with these phases and kind of, showing you how you would also study Bridgman using different mediums, not just the charcoal pencils. Okay, so I think of the body a lot of times in bevels, meaning like taking it as if you were cutting it or carving it out of stone or out of anything. It's more of a carving mentality. So a lot of times you'll hear me refer to drawing as sculptural. And again, that goes back to the planes, right? Remember when I designed a version of the Asaro planes for the figure? I think it was, again, phase 2 figure, or it was either phase 1 or phase 2. But I did a version of the planes that are highly stylized. Now, you can try to commit that to memory. It's a very tough little guy to commit to memory, but just start becoming more aware of it, aware of the fact that John Asaro is a great painter friend of mine, was one that was responsible for getting me to think more about the body being more beveled, because he's big into turning form with temperature and color. And this is one of the reasons why you want to know your plane so well, is when you get into painting more, which is all this stuff is leading towards painting. Drawing is simply a stepping stone to painting. It is not the end game. Some of you will want it to be the end game, but it's just not the end game. It's not lucrative enough to do it as a profession, just drawing. But I can see where it's darker again in here. And so that's where I'm taking my lead on, that's where his shadow is. And then I know if that's a shadow, then there has to be some core shadow where the light can't get around and then it goes into shadow. So I've created a stronger core that he left out because he's not, again, that concerned or aware of maybe how to explain his edge mapping that way. I don't know. So that's kind of how the pec wraps around right here, this little funny shape that occurs in here before it goes down into the pec. And then again, the separation of the deltoid with the pectoralis muscle as it comes into contact with it. And then we know that the deltoid is very complicated, especially in its middle head, which should be occupying some space here. On Bridgman, I see some weird swirly kind of strokes in this region. I have no clue what those are really representing. I know I asked myself what is in that section of the deltoid, and there is a strange little interaction of fibers or muscle that looks something like this. They kind of are almost like diamonds wedged together. So just know that Bridgman's coming in and punching you over the head with this information. He's not doing it in a subtle manner, because subtlety is hard to learn from, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So he's clobbering you with the insertions, clobbering you with who's in front of who, and that's that's important to know. Hey guys, Jeff Watts here. If you liked the video you just saw, go ahead and check out the full course online on our website. It has about 20 hours of video where you can see all the demos I've done here in full. I also have put together a book, Watts on Bridgman Volume 1, which coincides with the online course. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you on the course. Take care and keep pushing play.